Looking to grow your business? Tap into millions of monthly active users with DoorDash ads. Whether you're a local favorite or a national brand, our ad solutions help you reach new customers where they are, browsing and buying on the DoorDash app. To learn more, visit about.doordash.com and click Advertise. DoorDash ads. Reach, relevance, returns.
Hi, I'm Erica Wheelis, food and restaurant marketing reporter at Ad Age, and welcome to another edition of the Marketer's Brief podcast, our weekly discussion about marketing news and trends that have the industry buzzing. Today, I'll be talking to Jolie Weber, CEO of Xochitl, a chips and salsa brand based out of Irving, Texas. In this episode, Jolie will cover Xochitl's new partnerships with Jimmy Fallon and Cholula, why it went through a brand refresh, and how the brand is showing up during tentpole marketing moments like Cinco de Mayo. Now, here's my conversation with Jolie. Okay, so Jolie, Xochitl recently announced a partnership with Jimmy Fallon. Can you talk a little bit about, one, why is he the right fit for the brand? And two, what was the pitch to him?
Yeah, so we launched this news last week and we are super excited to share it with everyone. But there was a number of considerations when we thought about who would be the right voice, kind of face, partner, ambassador for the brand. And the first was, we really wanted to find someone with some natural warmth, someone that people find to be very relatable and authentic, but most importantly, approachable. Someone that people can relate to and feel like if they met him on the street, they could approach that person and meet him or her. So, we really wanted to find that right fit. And we wanted to find someone that had, of course, a big presence, particularly on social media out there as well. A lot of this partnership is around driving awareness for the brand. It is a 30-year-old brand, but it is a brand that, does have lower, I would say, household penetration as well as awareness. And so it was important to find not only the right fit of person and personality for the brand, but then also someone who has a large following and connection with their base. And so Jimmy was kind of a natural fit for us. And so we approached him and, like many things, this kind of percolated and built over time. It's like a good wine that took a little bit of time. But eventually, in the discussions and seeding of information and talking about the product to Jimmy, he just fell in love with the product. And he has said transparently too that he gets approached by a lot of brands and not many things get him that excited. But this is one that he could really relate to and get excited about. And so, from his side, he's decided to lean in. We're excited to embrace that. And we're looking forward to a big partnership going forward.
So I have to ask you, did you have any consumer data or customer insights that made you guys say we should have a partnership?
Yeah, so there's generally when you are looking to grow awareness, of course, you're looking to borrow a little bit of someone's brand personality. You're looking to borrow some of their network as well. And so our research and data had said, look, you need to see how you can expand your awareness and knowledge and know-how of the brand. And so we did a little bit of, I would say, more internal gut research with our team to say, who were people that we thought would be a good fit in a natural, authentic way that felt right for the brand, for the products, and then the person, of course, representing them as well. So I wouldn't say it was a ton of scientific data. It was more, how do we take what we know about this brand, its history, and some of the people that can feel naturally connected to it.
I feel like I hear more and more brands say this of like,
Mhm.
we just internally, we know ourselves and we know what would fit and it's worked for us. So I like to hear that. Okay. You have another partnership as well with Cholula, the hot sauce brand, a personal favorite of mine as well. How did that come together? I'm curious, like who reached out to who and how did you guys say this is a good flavor for us?
Yeah, so I think this one, as consumers look at this pairing, is going to seem very natural and a good fit for these brands. I mean, both of these brands have their heritage and roots in Mexico. And so as you think about bringing two classic Mexican brands together, one has its roots in Texas, one has its roots in Mexico, but bringing that flavor profile, heritage, authenticity together was very much a natural fit. And how often do we put hot sauce or salsas on our chips? And we thought, gosh, why bother to do that? Let's just go put it on the chip itself. And so we approached McCormick, who owns the Cholula brand, and proposed the idea to them. And at that point, they had not done any co-brand opportunities with the Cholula brand. And so we were one of the very first to get confirmed for it. And we are the actual first in the salty snack category. So we are so proud and honored to be a part of, their expansion with Cholula. And we're super excited to bring this new flavor in a very natural, authentic way to our consumers.
I love that. Okay. So I wanted to ask you about KPIs for both of these partnerships. I know that you've mentioned household penetration, but are there any other metrics that you guys are looking for with either the Jimmy Fallon partnership and the Cholula partnership?
Yeah, of course. We're going to be looking at just general awareness metrics. We'll be looking to see how we can measure that. We'll be looking to see how we can look at distribution expansion as well. Both of these partnerships, whether it's Cholula or whether it's Jimmy, we'll hope to use these to open new conversations and new doors with retailers, as well as on the digital shelf. We'll take this to places like Walmart.com. We'll take this to places like Amazon. So there's a huge, awareness portion, but there's also a huge distribution piece that we will be looking to measure and make sure that it is delivering on our expectations. There's a lot of metrics that go into measuring these things, but I'd say the other piece will be social engagement. How are we seeing our social channels develop over time, from followers to the engagement we're seeing to the two-way conversation with the consumer? So we'll be looking at a number of ways to measure the effectiveness of both of these partnerships.
I think that's a good segue because I did want to ask about media mix overall. Are there certain channels where Xochitl, like, do you guys see good return, or you're investing a little more there because you think there might be more consumers? I don't know. What's working for you guys?
Yeah, we are very new in what I would say investing in media and marketing in general. And so we're going to try a lot of different things, I would say, over the course of the next couple of years to see what really resonates and works for our consumer. I think it's really important to make sure that it's resonating with the Xochitl consumer. And so we're going to try things obviously on the digital side. We're going to try some traditional media plays. And then, of course, we are working on some of the important things as to how we show up in store as well. Sometimes we like to get, very fixated on what's happening on the digital front, or, what are the big media buys and campaigns. But it's really important not to miss how we're showing up at the store level as well, from packaging to our displays to racks and features and things like that. So we're going to keep all of that in mind in terms of how we invest and show up for the consumer and drive that engagement.
We're going to get into brand a little bit later, so stick around to our listeners. One thing in general, so you've talked about the brand is a 30-year-old brand. The snack category I know is huge. Chips are so popular. Can you talk a little bit about what makes the brand stand apart? If I'm choosing between you guys or somebody else, what do you say to folks of like, here's our brand prop for you?
This brand is one that has really been steeped in authenticity and heritage for 30 years. Carlos Salinas, who is the founder of this brand, he built this brand out of what he experienced from his childhood and growing up in Mexico, all the way from how the chip is designed through to the packaging itself and how that came to life, and then how we show up at the store level. And so if you think about our product, I like to describe it that it's just as beautiful inside as it is outside in terms of the packaging. But we have a very unique design of our chip, from the cut to the bite to the salt level. Our tagline is so thin, so crisp, so good. And so we really lean into that with our products, and we want to deliver on that each and every day. And so very unique product in the bag. We also, as you've seen from our packaging, we have a very unique package out there in a brown paper bag. This is very reminiscent of the days when Carlos was growing up, and he remembered very much the brown paper bag that he carried to school and how excited and emotional he got to have the food that was in that bag, because it was made with love from his family each and every day. And so that has been woven into the heritage and authenticity of our brand as well. And so, of course, we show up in unique product design, unique flavors now with things like Cholula, and then a unique presence on the shelf with our packaging.
We'll do a little bit more on brand refresh. But first, let's take a short break to hear this message from our sponsor.
Looking to grow your business? Tap into millions of monthly active users with DoorDash ads. Whether you're a local favorite or a national brand, our ad solutions help you reach new customers where they are, browsing and buying on the DoorDash app. To learn more, visit about.doordash.com and click Advertise. DoorDash ads. Reach, relevance, returns.
Welcome back to the Marketer's Brief podcast. I'm speaking with Xochitl CEO Jolie Weber. Okay, so like I said before the break, Xochitl rolled out a new brand look a few months ago. Can you talk a little bit about, one, what sparked the refresh, and why was it time?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, this is a 30-year-old brand, and the packaging has had such a unique presence in the marketplace. But we wanted to stop and pause and ask, what could we be doing slightly better or different for our consumers? And, some of the feedback that we got from our consumers was, we love your products, we love the look of your packaging, but there's some things that you could improve on to help us with our purchase decisions. And so from that, we ascertained that we could do a little bit of simplification with our brand logo. And so you'll see in our new packaging, it's quite bold and strong across the front of the package in a way that's very easy to read and recognizable quickly as you're scanning a shelf. We also heard that it was important for us to call out in a stronger way the distinction between the different varieties. There was some confusion between colors and the variety's name and things like that. And so we really leaned into some color palettes that we think will help call out not only the difference between the products themselves, but also bring it to life in a very authentic Mexican way with a color palette that is very reminiscent of the Mexican cultures and the rotolo signs that you'll see throughout Mexico. And so we were able to share those color palettes with the designs and then deliver on some of this clarity that consumers were looking for from us on the shelf. We all know that consumers shop very quickly, make decisions very quickly. And so it was important to have clarity from the brand mark to what we're selling in terms of the product description, tortilla chips, and then the variety itself. And so we're looking forward to launching that actually this month in the marketplace. And then we did a little creative thing on the side of the package where we're actually bringing to life our tagline. So the so thin, so crisp, so good is coming to life on the sides as well in a bright and fresh way.
Can you tell us a little bit about your core consumer, and is there a population or a demographic that you guys are hoping to grow with in the coming years?
Yeah, I think we've had a very traditional or classic female consumer. One that, shops the supermarket, loves wonderful products, loves to find things that are cleaner in nature from a label perspective, things that have, a great eat experience, and, things that they can rely on to find across many different channels from a product purchase standpoint. But we certainly are looking to expand that demographic. We love that consumer. We want to keep that consumer, but we do see an opportunity to expand, particularly with flavors, to attract a slightly younger audience or even a male audience that is excited about experiencing new flavors. We've got a tremendous base. It delivers a great opportunity for us to put flavors on it and then to provide a unique eat experience for consumers, but still keeping very much in the authentic and heritage way. So we've got to find great flavor profiles that match with our brand DNA as well.
How do you guys find new flavor opportunities? Is it category data that you're looking at? Are you just talking to consumers? Is it just internal of like, hey, I've seen this on shelf. I think we should give it a try. How do you guys decide on new flavors?
I think there's a lot of different things that we're looking at as we're thinking about flavors. Certainly there's going to be a fair amount of gut instinct from those of us internally that, live and die by the brand every single day. But we are going to listen to a lot of different, whether it's channels or segments of the market. We're going to be looking at what's happening from a culinary standpoint. What are we seeing in restaurants? What are the top chefs designing and developing? So there's going to be flavor profiles that are trending that we're going to see there, that we're going to be, listening to and very curious about. We're going to listen to retailers. Retailers a lot of times have, thoughts or ideas on a potential direction that a brand could go with different profiles. We're certainly going to do some research. We've got great partnerships with different research houses that help us to identify trends and flavors. And then we've got a number of seasoning, suppliers that we partner and work with that will also give us some data and guidance on what they're seeing in the marketplace. And I'd say maybe last, we also listen to our consumer. It's amazing what great ideas can come out of your own consumers in terms of how they're using your chips. Some of the most unique combinations we've heard of actually come from our consumers who use our products every single day.
Oh, wow. Do you have an example of one that you were like, huh, okay, that works?
Yeah, somebody the other day was telling me that they were dipping the chips in chocolate. And it would never have occurred to me. And it was chocolate. And then the other one they were saying they dip in it and it's Nutella. And it would never have occurred to me. But if you stop and think for a minute, it almost makes a lot of sense because you're like, okay, it's a salty product. And then you're putting it with sweet, very, very nice combination. And so we've seen it done in the salty snack category, sweet and salty, but it just hadn't occurred to me naturally to be dipping a tortilla chip into chocolate. So
I agree. Not what I would think
I
of
encourage everyone to try.
Sweet, yes, sweet and salty for sure, but tortilla chip, a new one for sure. Okay. So we are recording this on Cinco de Mayo, and I wanted to ask, what are some tentpole marketing moments for the brand? How do you guys show up, on occasions in the calendar that might really lend themselves to snacking occasions or tortilla chips in general?
Tortilla chips as a category, the wonderful thing about it is it really spans the whole year, which is great. There's always an occasion for tortilla chips, whether it's with your salsa, your guacamole, whether you're making chips and cheese for dinner or whatever it may be. But we, really have some exciting times throughout the year that we as a brand lean into, of course. One is Cinco de Mayo. It feels like the highest holiday of all Mexican brands here in the US, which is so exciting. But there's a lot going on throughout the summer. We've got a number of seasonal products that we bring to the market. And one of them is we have a patriotic chip. And so it is actually red, white, and blue, the chip. And so we really lean into that from Memorial Day all the way through Labor Day to celebrate the summer holidays here in the US. And so that's something fun and unique that we do with our products that our retail partners and consumers really love. We also have a Halloween product that we do that's black and orange, which is fun. And then we have a great end of year holiday Christmas item that is red and green as well. And so, there's a ton of occasions for tortilla chips, but we also put an extra spin on it with these seasonal items that we bring to the table.
Oh, that's very fun. Okay, I think I have seen the red and the green ones during the holiday, but okay, I will keep an eye out for the red, white, and blue later this summer. Very nice. Let's zoom out a little bit here, Julie, because I wanted to let's just talk about the brand name in general. I know some people might You might read this on your phone or on the internet and you say like, oh, like Xochitl or oh, those chips, right? It is Xochitl for those who may be confused. So obviously it's a little bit of a different name than maybe most US consumers are used to. Talk to me about this. How do you think about your name as a brand? Is it something that helps or hinders you guys when speaking to new customers?
Yeah, so I absolutely think that it helps us in terms of our distinctiveness.
Hmm.
There's no other brand or product that looks similar. However, it does present certainly some challenges in terms of the pronunciation that consumers think, they think they know the word or they don't even attempt the word. They'll be like, oh, yeah, I saw that one on shelf, but I can't say it. And so, we do a fair amount to help the consumer with that. And one is, we put it on the bag itself to help people pronounce it. And then this is also one of the fun pieces of what we're doing with Jimmy. Jimmy is helping us to educate or, inform people as to how to pronounce our brand name. And so we're trying to do it in a fun and humorous way so that people, when they recall, learning how to say the brand, they can also go back to that moment and say, oh, I heard Jimmy tell me how to say that. Or, now I know how to say it because Jimmy taught us how to say it. But yeah, it certainly is. It's different. It's unique, but it's also beautiful in its own right.
All right, I want to do a very kind of 30,000-foot view of things because you have spent many, many years in the food space. This is not your first rodeo. So I wanted to ask about trends in general. What are some trends that you are watching in the food space in general? If you want to get it down to, tortilla chip category in particular, you can, but just what are you keeping an eye on this year?
The biggest thing I think we've seen, and this is not just this year, this has been happening, almost maybe a decade. But the biggest thing is really the growth in global flavors. As I look back on my own, upbringing, and I won't tell you my age here, I probably was not exposed to 30% of what my daughter is exposed to today in terms of global flavors. And so as we look to the future, just, what are we going to be putting on salty snacks or products from other countries to enhance and broaden our food experience? And so I think it's pretty exciting to see what's out there. Some of it's very, very new, to the point where people don't quite know what they're tasting or trying yet. And some of it's becoming much more mainstream as time goes on. So the global influence is definitely probably one of the biggest trends that we're watching.
Very cool. I mean, if you do a gochujang tortilla chip, call me.
Okay.
I would try it. I will be I'll be in the taste test group.
That is great to know. Yeah.
All right, so we started with Jimmy Fallon for your partnership. So I wanted to end here. I'm sure that you guys internally maybe had a short list or some, if we waved a magic wand, here's who else we would work with. So who else would be on the list? Jimmy Fallon's a great partner, but going forward, who would you love to work with?
Gosh, there's probably a ton of people out there that we would love to work with, but out of 100% respect for Jimmy, and because we love him so much, I won't mention anyone else, but he is our go-to guy. Right now, we are fully embracing what we're doing with him, and we are so excited about what we can partner with him on in the future.
Are we going to potentially see him in some ads going forward?
You very well could.
We'll have to keep an eye out for it.
Mm-hmm.
That was Jolie Weber, CEO of Xochitl, and I'm Erica Wheelis, food and restaurant marketing reporter at Ad Age. I'd like to thank our producer, Lauren Ciardio, and invite you to subscribe to The Marketer's Brief wherever you get your podcasts. We promise to keep it brief, or at least short enough for your morning coffee. Thanks for listening.
Marketer's Brief listeners get $40 off an adage.com subscription. Sharpen your marketing edge and visit adage.com/brief for your discount.